evening, a few. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Aditya, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I am Elora and I can see your names are Shreya and Aditya.
Yeah.
Okay. I think both of you are in class 8. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aditya, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm here to teach you biology. I mean, if you can't hear me, just tell me when you can't hear me, right? Otherwise, I'll go.
I can hear you. I can
can
hear
hear
you.
I'll just go on speaking till you tell me you can't hear me. That's right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. So today we are going to learn why we need to study biology in the first place. Biology is a study of living beings. So there are 3 branches of biology, which is botany, which is the study of plants, zoology, the study of organisms, and human biology, which is about human beings. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. The moment you don't understand or you want me to stop and repeat, please tell me immediately. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. So, can you see this chart out here?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the different branches of biology. Anatomy. What is anatomy? That is the structure of an organism. Right?
Okay.
Next is
Yeah.
psychology, which is cell biology. As we know, all organisms are made of cells. Right? You know what a cell? Cells are supposed to be the building blocks of all matter. Right?
Okay.
Whether living or non-living, cell is supposed to be the living, is supposed to be the building blocks of all matter. Just like we build a house with bricks, all organisms, even you and me, we are made of cells. That's right. Next is histology. Now, what is histology? Histology is the study of minute structures. Can you see this histology?
Yeah. What do
Yes.
you mean by minute structures?
Minute structure or tiny bits of the body. For example, our hair, we've got different types of things in our body. We've got hair, we've got nails, we've got eyes, we've got a skin, and we've got all the other internal organs like heart, lungs, kidney, liver. So histology is the study of minute bits or parts of our body. As the study of histology is mostly done under a compound microscope. Is that clear? Okay.
Yeah.
Next is, we've got physiology. What is physiology? Physiology is the study of the functions of the and activities of the different organism. For example, a plant goes through it, it respires and it also conducts photosynthesis, right? So these are different functions of an organism. So and the study of that is called physiology. Next is taxonomy. What is taxonomy? Is the science of nomenclature. That is how you name the, because you know there's a variety of living beings in the world. So it's very difficult to classify them. So scientists have found out a way of classifying these organisms, and they have classified them. How have they classified them? Like from basic organisms whose body structures are maybe just made up of one cell. Okay. After that, it comes to be little more complicated, maybe few cells which perform the same type of functions. After that, it goes on to become even little more complicated. Did you understand?
No, I didn't understand taxonomy.
Taxonomy. Taxonomy is how you name organisms. That is called nomenclature. You know that
Okay. And physiology?
physiology is the activities of the living beings.
Okay.
Okay. Next is evolution. Evolution is when living organisms started or when they came into this world, they were just small bacteria, and gradually these evolved into, now when you go into further, when we go into taxonomy further, we will find out the organisms which are the smallest organism, they're just single cell animals. That is a single cell which is capable of performing all activities like an entire organism. What are the different things we do? We breathe, we need nutrition, we respire, we digestion takes place, excretion takes place. Now a single cell is capable of performing all these functions, right? So
Okay.
from that we will see, after that, like that is like amoeba. I'll come to those presentations are there, I'll come to those later on. But after that, I mean, then there are multiple organisms like hydra. They have multiple cells, but all the cells perform the same type of functions. Have you seen our body, or maybe the body of an insect? So what are the different things they do? They see, they move, but for all of them there are different types of organs. Now,
Yeah.
so that is I was in taxonomy. I wandered away from that. So taxonomy is how we name these organisms. Okay, and evolution is a study of how these different organisms have evolved. Okay, in the beginning there was only bacteria. Aditya, can you follow me? Aditya, can you hear me? It's become mute, I think, from you. Right. Aditya, can you hear my voice? Because I can't hear yours. Okay. Then after that, we come to evolution. Evolution is how living beings have gradually evolved. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Next is, these are the just different branches of biology. To what are the different things you can do with biology? The olden belief was that when you study biology, you only become a doctor. It's not that. Biology is used. Aditya বোধহয় শুনতে পাচ্ছে না, মানে আমি ওর কথাটা শুনতে পাচ্ছি না. So there are different things we can do with biology nowadays. You must have heard about cloning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you reproduce the same type of organism from one organism, right? So these are different experiments which when we come to this next part is genetics. What is genetics? Like people, you must have heard people telling you, you have the same nose as your father or the same hair as your mother. So those are passed down to you from your parents, from your grandparents, from your forefathers, by your genes, which are there in the cells. When we do the cells in details, you will find there are certain things called chromosomes in our genes, in our cells, and these genes are carried on the chromosomes, right? So that is the study of those genes is called genetics. Then comes biochemistry. Biochemistry is the study of biology and chemistry. That is, what is the effect of chemicals on different living organisms, right? That is
Right.
mainly used in medicine and for like other reproduction and things like that. Next is embryology. What is an embryo? And embryology is the study of formation of the embryo. The embryo is formed just for the process of reproduction, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, you know what is reproduction? Reproduction is producing the same kinds.
Okay.
Okay. I think Aditya has disappeared. Okay. So that is embryology. Embryo is the beginning of life. And how does life come about? When a male cell and a female cell, they combine together, it forms the embryo. So study of that embryo is called the embryology. Next is ecology. What is ecology? Ecology is the natural surroundings. For example, we must have seen that dinosaurs existed millions of years ago. Why have they suddenly disappeared? What is the reason? That is, they could not they could not live with the natural surroundings. They could not adapt to their natural surroundings, so they disappeared. So a study of ecology is extremely, why don't we find polar bears here? Or why don't we find the animals which exist here in the polar region? That is because of the climatic conditions, isn't it? So
Yeah.
that is the study of ecology. Next is the molecular biology. Molecular biology, molecules, cells. We'll come to the study of cells. This is just an introduction, and we first start with a study of cells. Okay, so what is molecular biology? Molecular biology is the study of molecules, right?
Right.
Is it clear till now? Next, we
Yeah.
come to morphology. What is morphology? Is the form and structure of plants and animals. Now, for example, different plants have different structures. Have you seen a pine tree and have you seen a banana tree? They both look very different, isn't it? So what is the structure of the leaves? Why the structure of the leaves are like that? And how the plant is adapted to the surroundings, that is called morphology. Right? Next, we come to anatomy. I already told you, anatomy is the study of the general form of any animal. For example, look at a human body, which has got the skeletal system, the muscular system, and all the other systems, right? Is this part clear to you? Can I go to the next part?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, as we were saying, from this, do you understand the need to study biology? It is for various, even for nowadays, for farmers, because of biology, they are finding, because they can grow new types of crops. They can grow probably fruits and vegetables which are much bigger, healthier, and with the use of with the combination of all the genes they take from, you must have seen in our Shobha itself, near the gate, there's a plant which has got red flowers on one side and white flowers on one side. What is that? That is, they have done grafting with two types of plants, right? This is all a study. This has all come from the study of botany, or botany comes under biology, right? So we use biology for different types, to do different types of things. Is that clear? Now,
Yeah.
what is a cell? Right. Now we will do about cell. The cell is a basic structure of all organisms. Even you can look at your table, your chair, even those are made of cells, but they are non-living cells. But in biology, we talk about living cells, right? After this, before I go on to the, I give you the structure of the cells, I will have to tell you how the cell was first discovered. A person called Robert Hooke, he was a scientist, and one day he was just looking under the microscope, and what he had done is that he had taken a piece of cork and he had cut very thin slices of that cork, and he looked under the microscope. Suddenly he found that it looked like the honeycomb of a bee. Have you ever seen the honeycomb?
Yeah.
Yeah, a honeycomb of a bee looks like some hexagonal structures placed side to side attached to each other. So he found that, and it was he who actually called them cells. But later on, another person called Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he actually found what cells were. Then he found out that there were plants had a different type of cells and animals had different types of cells. What the difference is between these two types of cells, we will go on to learn now. Now, cell actually comes from the Latin word which means small room. Understand? It is the
Yeah.
basic structural, functional, and biological unit of a living organism. Cells can also be compared to the bricks, like I told you, or it can be like the honeycomb of a bee. It is the tiniest unit of life, but remember, it is a living cells. In biology, we are just doing living cells. Most of your cells are living. That is the reason your hair grows, your nails grow. From time to time, you can see your skin peeling off. Why? Because that is getting rid of the old cells, and new cells are there to replace the old ones. If there are
Okay.
no cells to replace the old one, growth will not take place. Growth or existence also. Supposing you lose, suddenly you get a huge cut somewhere, you get hurt somewhere, and you lose that part of the skin. If that skin doesn't grow back, it's going to cause you a lot of trouble. Did you understand that? So,
Yeah.
because these are living cells, they are also growing back. Okay, and so the cells also have this capacity to replicate or reproduce. That is called growth. This
Okay.
capacity to replicate, and they have, like, if one cell is destroyed, immediately another cell is formed. That is called, it can replicate independently. It does not require any help from outside to replicate. Is that clear? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is, as this part I've already told you before. Can you see what? Can you see this picture here in your screen?
Yeah.
That Robert Hooke, he observed the cell, and this is what he saw. He had cut the piece of cork. Cork here means from the bark of a tree. He had just scraped off a bark from the tree, and he took this and he made it into a cell. Actually, you know how these things are made, because when if you go on to study biology in higher classes, you will see you'll have to scrape out probably a part of an onion, take it on a slide, and then if you see it under the microscope, you can see the cells placed side by side. Understand?
Okay.
Now, can
Yeah.
you see something? These are all small. Can you see the small squares? They are all partitioned off. So each one is independent. They are not one running structure. They are all independent structures, like
Yeah.
your bricks. Okay. Now, Robert Hooke had found this in 1665. Till 1674, not much progress was made about cells until another scientist in 1674, Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he witnessed a live cell under the microscope. And that is when he came to know that cells can reproduce on their own. They are independent. Got it? Can I move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, can you see? These are unicellular animals. These are animals which perform all functions like you and me. They they breathe, that is, they respire. They eat food. They digest that food. They excrete that the waste products. They move. There's locomotion. They reproduce. But they are just made up of one single cell. Okay, and so these are called unicellular animals. So one is amoeba. This paramecium looks like a slipper. Then is euglena. Euglena is actually a plant which euglena is also an animal, but it has got chloroplast. Another, you must have seen sometimes when you're going in a pond. Have you ever seen a pond which is absolutely green in color? Not with plants, but it's like a carpet of green sometimes on the pond. So though that is called, that's another structure called chlamydomonas, and they are unicellular plants. Okay, so unicellular animals, they respond to the environment to get rid of waste. They grow in size. You know, a non-living thing will never grow in size, but because they are living things, they grow in size. They reproduce. They include both. Now it is given, just learn these words, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Now I will go on to explain what prokaryotic and what eukaryotic is. Is that clear? Can I go on to the next one? Or you want?
Yeah.
And can you see these cells, because they're unicellular? See, they have something, all of them have something called a nucleus in the center. The nucleus is actually supposed to be the brain of the cell. All the activities of the cell is carried on with the help of the nucleus. Besides the nucleus, they have got other organelles. These are called the cell organ. Can you see the food vacuoles? Food vacuoles is when they take in food, where does the food go? Like we take in food, it goes into our stomach. So their entire body is this one cell. So the food has to remain somewhere inside this cell. So it remains as a vacuole. What is a vacuole? Vacuole is just like a bubble. Okay, it remains like a bubble, and the nutrition from the food, what happens? Why do we need to take food? Because food gives us energy. We won't be able, you don't take food for one day, you won't be able to move. And your parents must have told you, if you don't eat properly, you do not grow. So food is needed for growth, food is needed for energy. And what is the third thing food is needed for? Repair of body parts. So if you are ill, people will say, you must have your food properly, otherwise you will not become well. So these are the three things for which you need food. So similarly, these, although they are only made up of one cell, they take in the food, they utilize the food in that same way. Okay, food for them is used for growth. Food for them is used for repair of old cells, of body cells, and whatever the nutrients, you know, the food contains certain things which are called nutrients. So we only use the nutrients in the food, and the rest of it is thrown out as wastes. Okay, so these unicellular animals, they do the same thing. They take in the food and then they throw out the wastes. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Next. The cell is of two types. One is called a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell. I mean, how did life start? In the beginning, we do not exactly know how life started. So life started somewhere, they say, in the water. Some organisms grew in the water. When this life started, what maybe the bacteria and the archaebacteria, these were the initial living organisms to come into being. So this bacteria, these cells, they do not have a nucleus which is well formed. I told you before, the nucleus is the most important organ of the cell. Got it?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
these bacteria and the archaebacteria, which are very primitive creatures, you can say they're very basic creatures, okay? Their nucleus is not well formed. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get it? So,
Yeah.
cells whose nucleus is not well formed are called prokaryotic cells.
Okay.
And the second type is the eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cells are cells whose nucleus is well formed. Right? Now, in eukaryotic cells also, we find that the nucleus are in various stages of development. For example, protista and fungi. Their nucleus are well formed, but not as well as plants and animals. Okay, that is
Okay.
stages of development. Now, did you get the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell?
Yeah.
Aditya, did you get it? Okay. Can I go to the next part? I'll now show you pictures of your prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells.
Okay.
Now, can you see, this is what a prokaryotic cell looks like. So all cells, they have got different, like, they'll have a cell wall or a cell membrane. Animals, and now after this, gradually we'll go on to how there is a cell wall, there's a cell membrane and things. But here, I just want you to concentrate on the nucleus. Can you see the two types of cell? Can you see the prokaryotic cell is very basic?
Yeah.
Can you see the prokaryotic cell here? Can you see that
Yeah.
basic? The nucleus, can you see the nucleus? It's not that well formed. Because,
Yes, ma'am.
see, I told you the nucleus is the brain of the cell. Right? Now, inside the nucleus is something. Nucleus itself is again like another cell. Inside the nucleus, there's another organelle which is called the nucleolus. Okay. A prokaryotic cell does not have that demarcation. It just has a dark portion which is called the nucleus. And can you see this in the eukaryotic cell? In the eukaryotic cell, the nucleus is well formed. In between that is the nucleolus. Right? Now, the prokaryotic cell do not have a nucleus. They have a demarcation as a nucleus, but no nucleus as such. Is that clear? Okay.
Okay.
Now, so prokaryotic cells are mostly found in small lower animals or unicellular animals, right? Whereas eukaryotic cell make multicellular organisms and perform more complex functions. Clear? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what is the difference between a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell? A eukaryotic cell, nucleus is present, whereas in a prokaryotic cell, nucleus is absent. Number of chromosomes. Chromosomes are, you will now gradually go to study, chromosomes are thread-like structures which are found inside the cell, which carry the genetic characters or the hereditary characters. Okay?
Okay.
So, in eukaryotic cell, number of chromosomes are more than one. In prokaryotic cells, chromosome is one, but they are not true chromosomes. Okay, they are called plasmids. They are not called chromosomes in prokaryotic cells. They are called plasmids. Is that clear? Is it becoming very difficult for you?
What is the difference between a chromosome and a plasmid? Because
a chromosome is a well-defined structure which has got the gene, which carries the genes on top. Here, there are probably thread-like structures, but no genes are there.
okay.
Okay. Now, eukaryotic cells are mostly found in multicellular organisms. I will not say plants and animals. I will now refer to these as organisms. Anything which are living, they can carry on all the functions of living being. So they are mostly found in, they are multicellular. And prokaryotic is mostly found in unicellular. They are cyanobacteria. There may be some type, like bacteria is unicellular. There's one type of bacteria which is called the cyanobacteria, which may be multicellular. But at the moment, you stick to the fact that prokaryotic cell is mostly for unicellular animals. Okay. Next, true membrane-bound nucleus. Now, in eukaryotic cell, a well-defined nucleus is there which has a membrane around it. We have not done this, but I will still give you an idea of this. I told you about a well-defined nucleus. I told you that the nucleus is the most important structure in a cell. So unless the nucleus is well-defined, it cannot function properly.
Okay.
Okay. So here there is a nucleus which has a membrane around it. Membrane means very thin type of skin-like thing, like a balloon. Can you see the balloon? The thing is a membrane. When it is widely stretched, it's a membrane. Okay. Now, in prokaryotic cell, the nuclear membrane is absent. Clear? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the examples of eukaryotic cells? Animals and plants. And for prokaryotic, it is bacteria and archaebacteria. Now, this you don't need to know. Meiosis and this you don't need to know. And lysosome and all. We'll come to this after I have taught you the cells in details. Only then we'll do these points. Till then, is this clear? You want me to go through it once more?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There are two types of cells. Okay. Because you know, organisms, when they were formed in the beginning, what happened? They were very basic. They could only, I mean, only they could do those basic functions. What were the basic functions? Like eating, growing, reproducing, and dying. Okay? They were not able to do the other complex functions of life. So, what were they? They were like bacteria and bacteria. They were the first living organisms to come into being. It is believed. Exactly which were the living organisms we do not still know, but it is assumed. Excuse me. Looking at the whenever you say, when you're building something, say you're writing a book, unless you know ABCD, which is a platform, which is with ABCD, the permutation combination of that only you get difficult words and books, etc. So similarly for cells, first there has to be something very basic. So prokaryotic cell is a very basic cell. And what is missing in the prokaryotic cell is the nucleus. Because the nucleus is the brain of the cell, and the brain here is missing. So they can only perform the basic functions. Got it? Whereas a eukaryotic cell is a more advanced type of a cell which has a well-defined nucleus with the nuclear membrane. Okay. So the nucleus is very well defined. Now, prokaryotic cell is found in what sort of animals? I will now only tell you how much you need to know, right? Prokaryotic cell is found in very basic animals like bacteria, archaebacteria. Clear? Whereas eukaryotic cell is found in multicellular organisms like plants, animals, all advanced and like even we have the cells in our body are eukaryotic cells. We cannot afford to have prokaryotic cells because our body has got so much of well-defined cells that prokaryotic cells cannot exist there. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Now is that clear?
Yeah.
Aditya, is that clear? Okay. Now, cell number. Just as I have told you, cell number varies from organism to organisms. Some organisms are made of a single cell and therefore they are unicellular. And I think I have given you more examples of unicellular animals in the form of amoeba, paramecium, euglena, chlamydomonas. Okay. Some organisms are made of more than one cells. They are called multicellular. Example, in human bodies. Some cells, they are big enough to be seen with without a microscope. For example, a hen's egg is also a cell. Understood?
Yeah.
So, the size of cells in living organisms may be as small as a micrometer, that is 1/1,000,000th of a meter, that, or it can be as large as few centimeters. That depends on what organism it is. Clear? Okay.
Yeah.
The smallest cell is around 0.1 to 0.5 micron. What is a micron? Micron is 1/1,000,000th of a meter. Okay. The largest cell is 170 millimeters by 130 millimeters, which is the egg of an ostrich. An ostrich is also a cell. Cell shape. Cells are generally round, spherical. I'll just show you pictures of that. Elongated. Some cells are quite long. Some cells have branch-like structures. Amoeba has an irregular. Can you see the different type of cells? See, in our body itself, we have got so many cells. See, this is the nerve cells. These are branches of that. This small thing is the bacterium. This, although it is a cell, it's a prokaryotic cell. Clear? Now, this is a plant cell. Can you see the egg? This is also a cell. The blood which we have in our, the red blood cells, we've got 3 types of cells in our blood, which are the red blood, white blood, and the platelets. Okay? And the liquid matter, our blood is like, say, supposing you take a glass of water and you throw small things inside that. Inside our blood, we have a strong, actually our blood is just straw colored liquid, you know, it's a beige color or a straw colored liquid. What makes it red is the presence of the red blood cells in it. Okay, so there are different types of cells in our blood, and these are the muscle cells. Okay.
Okay.
So cells can be of different shape. This is the bacterium, which is 2 to 10 micrometer. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we have done, I think this is not very good, but all the same, I'll just explain this to you. Now, what is the structure of a cell like? Are you ready that I go into the structure of a cell now, or is this too much for you? Can I go into the structure?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. A cell, you can just imagine a cell, although some of the cells are very small and can just be seen with the microscope. A cell has a definite structure. What is the structure? It has a cell membrane. Membrane means, supposing, let's take a balloon for an instance. When you blow up the balloon, what is it like? It has a certain shape. Different balloons have different shapes. The cells are similar. And that outside part is called the cell membrane. What is the function? Therefore, what function do you deduce from that? What do you think the function of the cell membrane is?
To protect the cell?
Protect the organelles inside the cell. Right? So there are various things inside the cell. Right? For example, we have got a jelly-like substance which is called the cytoplasm. That is between the cell membrane and the nucleus. There is a jelly-like substance which is called the cytoplasm, and it contains lots of other cell organelles. Okay, what are organelles? Organelles is the small form of organs are called organelles. I think I missed out on one part of it. I just a minute. Cells, just listen to this. I don't know where that presentation part is. I'll just give you the presentation part of cell in our body. See, can you see? We have got different types of, our hair is one texture, eyes are different texture, skin is different textures, nail is different textures. Why? Because those are made of different types of cells, but when the same cells, they join together, they form a tissue. Okay? I'll just give the presentation, but listen to me. If you don't understand, I'll just go back on that and give the presentation. Right. I'll just put this here. Yeah. See, cells, together the cells make a tissue. Many tissues together form an organ. Many organs together form an organ system. And many organ systems together make an organism. Right? For example, in our skin, we have got the same type of cells. Okay, they together form a tissue which forms the skin. Now, for example, our heart. Heart is made up of the same type of cells which forms a tissue, and these tissues, again, the same type of tissues combine together to form an organ. Many organs, different types of organs. Like, what is the digestive system made up of? Digestive system is made up of stomach, small intestine, large intestine. So, many different organs together make up an organ system. And many organ systems together make up an organism, maybe a bird or a human being or a plant or a whatever you say. Clear?
Yeah.
Is that fine? Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
that's fine.
okay. Okay. Now we come back here. So the cell, I told you before this, the cell has an outer wall which is known as the cell membrane. Remember, do not call it a cell wall. Cell wall only appears in plants. We do not have cells which have cell walls. There's only outer covering which is known as the cell membrane. Okay. Inside the cell membrane, there's a jelly-like substance which is called the cytoplasm. Okay. And there are other cell structures like vacuoles, lysosome, Golgi bodies, mitochondria. I'll come to those later. They are all small, small things which are suspended in the cytoplasm.
Okay.
Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah.
And what else? What is the main organelle in the cell? Is the nucleus. Okay. We will go into the nucleus in details later on, but first you understand the outside of the nucleus. Got it? So,
yeah,
nucleus is the spherical body. It is generally found in the center of the cell. It has a membrane which is called the, similarly, nucleus is again like a cell inside a cell, because nucleus again has a central part which is like the nucleus, which is called the nucleolus.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we will leave the nucleus alone for the time being. We will just see, it is a small spherical body and the thread-like structures called the chromosomes. Before this, I had touched on chromosomes and I told you the chromosomes are thread-like structures which carry the hereditary characters or the genes. And as I told you, the cells, they can grow independently. They themselves can grow independently. Is that right? And
yeah.
But how do they grow? By cell division. Okay. One cell divides into 2, 2 divides into 4, 4 divides into 8, 8 divides into 16, 16 divides into 32. So from one cell, we can go on getting more and more and more cells. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Can you understand that? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so these chromosomes, which are thread-like structures, they become very, otherwise when you look at a cell under the microscope, the chromosomes cannot be very clearly seen. They are, they've got a dull texture. If I can ever get you, I'm trying to get that picture, like what a cell looks like exactly under the microscope. You will see the chromosomes, they look very dull. You can't see them properly. They become very prominent when during cell division. Okay?
Okay.
During cell division, what happens is this: the water from the cell becomes dehydrated. The cell becomes dehydrated. Okay? So when the water is not there, the other structures which are inside the cell, they become very clear. Okay? So, that is when, so during cell division, the chromosomes can be seen clearly. Now, what are the other structures in the cells? Other structures in the cell are endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, chloroplast, cytoplasm, lysosomes, etc. We will do each of them in details in the consecutive classes, because doing that today might become too much for you. Okay, let me see what else I can do today. Okay. Can we, I mean, we won't do this now because this comes much later, but I would just like you to see this diagram on the right side. Can you see this?
Yeah.
This is what a cell looks like. Okay. See, can you see that this boundary, this is the cell membrane. Okay.
Okay.
This purple part here is the nucleus. Okay.
Okay.
Can you see this beige colored part here? This is actually a jelly-like substance which is called the cytoplasm. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now, there are certain places which are called vacuoles. What are vacuoles? Vacuoles means there's absolutely nothing. It's like a hollow space. Okay. Those are called vacuoles. Later on, when you go on to do more advanced study, you will understand how the vacuoles are used. These are called the Golgi bodies. Okay. This is the ribosomes. This is this part. This is called endoplasmic reticulum. It is like as if the membrane, it's like a folded nuclear membrane. Okay, I'm just giving you the names. It's not that you need to remember it right now, because I'm going to do that in details, what the function of each organelle is, so that after that you'll remember that well. Then comes the lysosome, and then comes the mitochondria, which are called the powerhouse of the cells. Okay, we will do each of these organelles very specifically in our next classes. Now, I would like to know if you have any questions from what I have taught, or any part of it which you would like me to go back and explain once more.
What is the difference between a cell wall in the plant cell and the cell membrane?
Yeah, I will come. That I will only do after I have done the structure of both the cells. Plants have a definite cell wall around them, which is made of cellulose. Okay, and animal cells have a cell membrane, right?
Okay.
So that's it. I will do that once I go on to the other. You can see the structure of the cell membrane, and once I do that in details, then only I will do that. Do you have any other questions from what I have taught you already? Not from what I'm going to teach you. That, of course, I'll go step by step.
No, all clear.
All clear?
Yeah.
So, I think that is all you need to know about. This is just an introduction, and this is just like I have. Do you want to know what the cell theory means? It's not that you need to, but would you like to know what the cell theory means?
What is it?
The battery is running low over there. Okay. Okay. I don't have it here on PowerPoint, but can I just tell you what is cell theory? Would you like to write it down or something? Actually, I'm also very new to online teaching, so I won't know the mechanisms how to do it. Okay. Cell theory states three major points. The cell is the smallest unit of structure of all living things. Okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, the cell is the unit of functions of all living things. And thirdly, all cells arise from pre-existing cells.
Okay.
Have you written it down? Aditya, have you written it down? Of course, I'll make, in the next class, I'll make these points and give it to you. But if you want to, you can. Will I repeat it once more?
Yeah, please.
The cell theory states three major points.
Okay.
Number one,
Hmm.
the cell is the smallest unit of structure.
Okay.
Start again, Aditya.
Yes.
Shreya, just a minute. I'll just repeat it for Aditya because he hasn't started as yet. The cell theory states three major points. The cell is the smallest unit of structure of all living things. Secondly, the cell is the unit of functions of all living things. Third, all cells arise from pre-existing cells.
Done.
In the first point once more, can I just explain the first point? What did they say? The cell is the smallest, that means it is the structural unit. That is, supposing you take a frog or a mango tree or a banana tree or any other thing, and you see, examine it under the microscope, you will find they are all made up of cells. Right?
Yeah.
Secondly,
Yeah.
it's a functional unit. That is, all the functions in the body, whether it is respiration, whether it is digestion, whether it is excretion, reproduction, everything is carried out in the cellular form. It starts from the cells. Okay?
Okay.
Third, it is that the cells arise from pre-existing cells. That is, these cells will, they all come from other cells due to the division of cells which were already there before.
Okay.
Understood these 3 points? That
Yeah.
is, these 3 points are the cell theory.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So, any questions from both of you, or should we stop here? Because if I start the other thing, it's pretty long, like it'll be too much, I think, for you.
No, I'm clear.
You clear? Aditya, are you fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions from both of you?
No, ma'am.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So, okay. Next class, I go on to details about the cell organelles.
Okay.
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 So, I think that's it.
Fine.
Bye.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.